Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just click the link in the show description to support now.
Breaking news, brothers and sisters. WWE has brought back CM Punk. That's right. Punk took his tail and tucked it between his legs and came begging back to the big time. In this special edition of the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast, we have humanitarian, actress, international model Sophia V. She's back to talk about what happened at Survivor Series and also the biggest WWE fan in IWC history, the man known as The Surge. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke Loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey, this is The Surge, and you're listening to Duke Loves Wrestling.
You stop the presses, craziness happening in pro wrestling. And, I was talking to Sophia V, who was on last week, and she was like, you got to get The Surge on your show. You got to get the biggest WWE fan on the planet to talk about this. And I said, something, Sophia? I trust you. You always have good ideas and what have you there. So I said, why not? So we reached out to The Surge, and he's here for the first time on the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast. So first of all, ladies first, welcome back again, Sophia.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to get right into nitpicking. What is the right terminology? To undress, maybe, the Survivor Series that we just witnessed.
Yeah. Nitpicking,
and we got Surge in the building, so it's going to be really fun because I've got some hot takes, and I know Surge is not going to be happy.
Uh-oh. So Surge, what's going on, brother?
Yo, what's going on? It's been crazy, huh?
Yeah, it sure has. And I'll just jump right into it. I mean, Surge, CM Punk has been brought back by the WWE. A lot of people feel that this is a good idea, but some people feel this is the biggest mistake in WWE history. What say you, Surge? What's your initial thoughts about that?
Well, the moment itself was like a big surprise. Like, they were speculating weeks now. And like, I've had like my thing with CM Punk. Like, I used to be a fan of his, and then I kind of had a little bit of I don't know about this guy, but and now he's coming back to WWE, and he came back. I'm like, that was a big surprise. Wow. Like, the way they did it was like they did it with Bray Wyatt. It's like when you didn't know, when you thought the show was gonna be over, and then all of a sudden, the music hits, everyone goes crazy, and it was really unexpected. I'm in like a wait and see with Punk. I think he's a changed person. Like, I don't think he wants his legacy to get ruined, that someone that just goes to each company and just burns bridges left and right, Like, I'm thinking this is maybe WWE is a changed company from back then. Punk is a changed person, it seems. And I'm just like going to wait and see with CM Punk right now.
Interesting take there, Serge. I know a lot of people agree with you, but there are a lot of people that disagree as well. Yeah. Sophia V, do you think CM Punk, the guy that literally just got fired from his last company because he threatened the lives of not only the president of the company, but also the production crew, his fellow wrestlers, do you think a guy like that can be a changed man in such a short amount of time?
First of all, I don't know much about CM Punk's childhood or like growing up as a teenager, but he did grow up in Chicago, right? And obviously I'm not from America. I've never been to America, but I've heard that Chicago is proper freaking, like, everyone there is like just really tough, right? So I don't know. Like, he seems really rowdy, and I don't know, is that because he's from is he from the hood? I don't know. He might have grown up in a nice suburb in Chicago. I don't know much about him in that sense, but he seems proper rowdy and feisty, and he's ready to fight at any minute. And that kind of, to me, as somebody who's never been to America or Chicago, from what I've heard, kind of like embodies the Chicago vibe.
I wouldn't necessarily say he's proper hood. And Chicago, just like any other major city, you have your areas that are definitely underprivileged. And because of that, people have to really fight to survive. And then you have your upscale. I think Chicago is number 3 in the entire United States. They have the most millionaires per capita as a city. So there's definitely a very high financial bracket in Chicago that dispels a little bit of that. But people who have to struggle to survive, certainly. And I know that Punk had some issues in his home life, which contributed to him being the way that he is. So, I wouldn't necessarily say the hood, but definitely he didn't have the easiest upbringing as a child. But with that said, though, how do you apply that to what you've seen from him over the past even year? The fact that he got kicked out of AEW for doing what he did, and now WWE brings him back. I mean, what do you think about that, Sophia?
So I'm not a fan of Philip, honestly. I think he is whiny. He's like super annoying and irritating.
Wow. Serge, are you going to take that? Do you think that that's true? Do you think Punk is irritating?
You know what? I think CM Punk, yeah, he could be. He was that at least. I'm just trying to see, like, people, like, time heals all wounds. He's been like, and I think it was more on both sides with the AEW thing. Like, I don't know about people fearing for their lives. That's what Tony said. Like, I don't know if Punk was saying he was gonna murder people, but like, but I think there was like a bunch of like stuff happening. Jungle Boy was acting up as well. Punk, the Elites, all of them, I think, were like at faults. Like, it wasn't just CM Punk, I think, with that. And I think CM Punk saw how things were ran in AEW, probably made him miss WWE because it's more corporate, not corporate, like more like less amateur than AEW. Like, it was more behind the scenes, is more like, not less chaotic, less inmates running the asylum type of thing with WWE. And even an AEW wrestler, I think, said that Punk will probably be in good hands in WWE because there's like more leadership, it seems, in the locker rooms.
Sophia, we'll start with you on this. Do you think it's possible? Vince McMahon, he's older. He doesn't have many more years left where he's going to be able to work at a high level. He's sold a bunch of stock. There's a chance he's going to continue to sell more, or he might be pushed out of the company because he's still dealing with legal issues. Is it possible that Vince McMahon took a CM Punk knowing that this guy has been a problem everywhere he's been? Is it possible that Vince McMahon is trying to destroy the WWE from the inside out?
Oh my God. So I think Vince, regardless of his like issues that he has, he's a great businessman, right? And I don't think he brings his like own personal feelings towards somebody when it comes to his business, because even in the Attitude Era, I'm sure there's guys, even like guys that he really loved as maybe his own children, and would be like, oh, I love you. Like Kurt Angle was saying how, he used to call him and be like, I love you. Not like I love you in a way, like in an intimate way, but like his son, you know what I mean? And then there's obviously guys that he's hired who he probably doesn't like, but he knows are good for the business. I don't understand the CM Punk phenomena I just mentioned earlier, like that I don't like Philip. I'm going to call him Philip, but I don't like Philip. And I think I really do not understand the phenomena behind him either. People really like him regardless. And it's very strange to me that people really like him. I know in his first run, he must have. So I find him very like soppy and whiny, but maybe when he's talking like that, it hits home for some people. Like they really feel it, and I just don't understand that. I really don't understand that personally. It's like, what, in my eyes, why would you like somebody like that? And I don't think he can perform. I've watched him wrestle in AEW. He's not to the level he was. Obviously, we all age. I understand that. But like, people are like, oh my God, match of the decade, Seth Rollins and CM Punk. it's like Seth is gonna have to carry him the entire match. He can't wrestle, he can't go, and what we probably want like 45 minutes, maybe half an hour of that match. CM Punk can't go for that long, man. He's not with it, you know. So I don't understand. He's good on the mic, so give him a managerial role, but as a wrestler, I don't know. But I do see that people like him. I don't know why. Maybe you can tell me. What do you think the phenomena behind CM Punk, the brand, the man, the myth, the legend is?
Serge, you want to take that one? I mean, why do you think people gravitate to CM Punk so much?
Man, CM Punk is like a cult, like the song says, cult of personalities. Like he's a guy that a lot of people like back then. Like he was one of like he's like probably actually he was the first indie person I think that made it to the top, to where to WWE championship, to the main events scene. Like he was like the first indie guy. Then Daniel Bryan came in, and all these other indie people started to get pushed. Like he's a guy that a lot of people thought that with the pipe bomb in 2011 that it was very, you know, he said a lot of true stuff. And you know, I haven't seen much of him in AEW because I stopped watching AEW, but like I seen some stuff of Punk, and like I heard he had some good matches, Sophia. So I don't know. Like I think he could probably still go. Like, and I think Seth and Punk could create magic, but I don't think Vince McMahon actually was the one that brought. Because I heard Vince had no dealings with this. It was all Nick Khan and Triple H, and they thought maybe, you know, Punk is just like he could, because the fans want him and he could bring a lot of money. And they're more, this WWE is more receptive than Vince's WWE to listen to fans and what they want. And they think they could get more ratings with CM Punk. So I think that's why they brought him in. And I think they could handle CM Punk more better than an AEW can. So they're like, you know, it's like risk and reward. You got to weigh in your options with CM Punk, really. Like, and I think, you know, I think Punk, you know, he knows how people see him, like as a toxic person, and I think he wants to leave a better legacy than that, and he wants to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. So I think he's gonna not want to screw this up this time. You know, this is like a second chance at WWE. He's like, this is his second chance to prove people wrong, because a lot of people would be thinking that he's just a locker room cancer, and like, so if he messes this up, you know, that's gonna tarnish him for good. Like he already knows what happened with AEW and also WWE in the past. He had some problems, but I think WWE can handle a CM Punk better, just in case. But yeah.
Listen, I mean, CM Punk is the kind of guy who has a charismatic personality. You know, he really does a great job of building relationships with people who feel like they don't fit in. So we're not talking about somebody with the star quality of a Roman Reigns. We're not even talking about somebody of the star quality of a Miz. We're literally talking about people like Joey Mercury in the past. Mm-hmm. We're talking about FTR. You know, we're talking about people who legitimately feel like they should be the top people. They should be at the top of the card. They should be the ones making the most money because they work the hardest, and they can't understand why you would pay a big star like Roman Reigns when you got somebody like CM Punk. I mean, come on. You know, so Punk does a very good job of, you know, for lack of a better term, preying on the insecurities of people like that and making them feel like he's their advocate. And because of that, he's able to divide locker rooms. That is his history. He gets people to push against the system and, you know, separate themselves from everybody else, and drives a wedge. And unfortunately, and you can look at Punk's work history to see the proof in the pudding, when things go wrong after a couple of years, what happens to those people who were his disciples? You know, they get left in the lurch. What's happening with FTR right now? What's happening with Ricky Starks right now? What's happening with people, you know, just like what happened to Festus and Joey Mercury and folks like that, Serena Deeb? They were left in the lurch when CM Punk finally had his little big outburst and he had to be removed from the company. Sophia, does that make sense? I mean, especially where you come from, where you're out there in London. Does it make sense when you look at a person who is able to prey on people's insecurities and separate them, and then just leave them out there to dry afterwards? Because, oh, by the way, it's still all about them.
You know what you just said actually made me think of something totally different. And like CM Punk is known for being somebody who's like straight edge, never drunk, never done any drugs, right? And I think for like people that I've spoke to about wrestling who have never done drugs or never drank, kind of see him like, he's the man because he kind of made being sober cool, which is kind of rare because everyone like, glorifies drinking and like, partying and getting like wasted. And he was like somebody who was actually, kind of made it cool to actually not do those things. And people who I know who have never like done anything see him as the man because he's like the only maybe famous person that they know that was kind of, never done anything. Have you heard that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I wonder though, because we don't know for sure what's really going on there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But is that all a mirage? Because here's the problem. Why does it end up falling apart so often for him? I mean, why do you think, Sophia, Punk is able to put himself in a position where he gets ostracized because of the way that he acts?
Well, I was speaking to someone and they said that he behaves like he's a prison gang leader. I don't know, to be honest, because then I'm thinking, is it the Chicago in him? Like, I don't know. You said he's kind of had a tough childhood, but maybe that's, like, he thinks he's that guy. He thinks he's a G. And then he goes to companies and recruits like members. He's like daddy and, he recruits. He's like daddy and he recruits members, right? And then the thing is, the people like maybe if he recruited somebody who could talk that talk, like he is recruiting, like you just mentioned, FTR and Ricky Starks, they're great wrestlers. But I mean, if you got into beef, like, because it is kind of beef, he's threatening people. Are they gonna have your back? Can they actually, go the full way? I don't think so. So like he's not recruiting somebody on level with him. He's kind of getting people who are lower than him, which kind of makes sense if you're trying to build a what is it called? Not a cult, but something like that.
An empire.
Yeah. So you don't want another like alpha, because then you're gonna clash. So I think do you know what though? He is alpha. He is alpha. People are scared of CM Punk, yeah, but well, like not as in he's gonna fight you, but like he's just got that aura. Like I don't know. People are scared of him. I don't see why though. Is he like proper like psychopath? Like he'll fuck you. Is he?
Well, not so much. I mean, he had a couple of MMA fights professionally, and he got his ass kicked in the UFC. So I don't know. Maybe because he's a trained fighter. He's a good fighter when it comes to pro wrestlers who are not necessarily trained real fighters. But he got beat up pretty well in the UFC and embarrassed himself. Yeah. So I don't know. That's a good question to ask there though. Serge, what's your take?
Yeah, the thing like UFC, like he did get a lot of respect though, because not a lot of wrestlers do go to MMA, and that's like a different world. And like he did get a lot of respect from Dana White, and also I think one of those fights they took the loss off because one of those guys cheated because they took something, and Punk of course is straight edge, so he didn't take anything. And so I think one of those losses got vanished from his record. So he's really 0-1, I guess. But and CM Punk, he does look he's like a wrestler's wrestler really. He gets a lot of respect also with a lot of wrestlers like that are like an FTR, like they're a wrestler like. Punk is not like Roman Reigns, like you said, or The Miz. He's more like in the indie side of things, and he's sticked up for a lot of people like in the past that weren't getting pushed. Like he will like say, "Oh, this guy should be pushed," like that guy should be pushed. Like so, he's like he says like he himself says he's not for everybody. He's gonna say some stuff that is probably gonna be controversial, and like he's very outspoken and stuff, but. I think he lasted more years in WWE than AEW. So I'm thinking WWE. He can't be acting up like that in WWE more like he wasn't with AEW, where he was allowed to do a lot of these stuff. Just
Well, he's not going to challenge anybody to a fight in WWE because, Bobby Lashley would beat the hell out of him.
Bobby Lashley. Oh, imagine.
Bobby Lashley would rip his face off. So you can't do that. You start going down the line, and it's like these are not guys, Chad Gable, guys like that who have Olympic wrestling backgrounds. You're not going to do anything. Shinsuke Nakamura would destroy him. So, I don't think he's going to be challenging people to step outside in the WWE like the little guys in AEW. Good luck to that. But let's fast forward for a second. We'll start with you, Serge, on this one. 2 years from now, when we look back on this time, did this hurt the WWE in the long run because CM Punk is so volatile, because he's so unpredictable? Will this hurt the WWE in the long term, or was this a brilliant idea when we look back 2 years from now?
I think right now we're in the honeymoon phase of this return. So 2 years from now, I think CM Punk wants his legacy he wants to prove people wrong in the other company in AEW. He wants to, because there was a lot of finger pointing, and Punk was like, he wants to, I think, prove people wrong. So I'm thinking he's gonna, I don't want to say be on his best behavior, he's gonna be like Hulk Hogan in 2002. Like he's gonna be more in how Hogan was, willing to job to people, and even tapped out to Kurt Angle. He's gonna be more willing if he has a job to people. He will be willing to put people over that he has to put over. He's not gonna because I heard people oh man, he ruined Hangman Page, who was on the come up, and he buried him, and I heard that there was a whole drama with that as well, with him and Hangman and the Elite, and they were also mad. But I don't know. It's I think CM Punk is not gonna act this way in WWE. I think his legacy is on the line, and he's gonna want to, because I was the biggest CM Punk fan, but over before months before he left, I was starting to get sour on him with a lot of the shenanigans I've heard, and so I became one of his biggest fans, so one of his biggest detractors. And right now I'm in I really I didn't think WWE needed Punk, but it's a icing on the cake, I guess, because WWE's doing record numbers right now. They're doing great attendance, and they're doing lots of money, and this TKO merger it's really big right now. Triple H has the reins right now. It's creative. Vince McMahon no longer has control creative. Triple H and Nick Khan thought this was the best idea to have CM Punk to create more buzz. And I guess it's a risk and reward type of thing where just the risk of CM Punk being in WWE, because some people Seth Rollins, for example, he has personal beef with him, but he also has personal beef with Riddle and Cody and others, and he still was able to work. And I think he could work with CM Punk, and they could create a lot of money, something that I think he could have done in AEW with the Elites, but the Elite didn't want to work with him.
Well, I mean, who wants to work with a guy who just beats you up in real life? So I can understand that, even though I'm no fan of the Elite. But so you feel it's going to be positive. 2 years when we look back, this was a good move by WWE.
There's money to be made. I think a lot of people they see CM Punk, they may not like him. Roman Reigns, I think, said he doesn't like him, but he's willing to work with him. And I think there's a good dynamic with Heyman as well there. There's a lot of good dynamics with Punk, and a lot of dream matches to be had. And I think in WWE, they consider the Elite. I guess they didn't care about the money. They were more personal with Punk. But I guess WWE, I've heard a lot of people are willing to work with him. So they're
interesting.
They're willing to put that beef on the side to get, because they know that there's a bigger picture here. There's money to be made. There's a lot of big feuds, a lot of stuff you can play from real life tension into storyline. People really thought, and I've heard Seth Rollins, you saw that video of Seth Rollins flipping him off and cursing him out.
Yeah. There might be some real feelings in there. There might be.
I think I heard it was a work. I'm
It
like,
could,
wow.
it could be a little bit of both. But Sophia, let's jump to you on this one though. 2 years down the line, and you heard what Serge had to say, especially about people. Are they going to use their personal vendettas to get in the way of business, or are they going to focus on business? 2 years down the line, we look back on this. Will we say that WWE made the right move, or will we say that bringing in CM Punk was one of the biggest mistakes they could have ever made?
I'm not sure how much have they. Do you have any idea how much they've invested to bring him back?
Well, he has at least a 3-year deal.
Okay.
And they already announced that he is going to be speaking on Raw tonight. And they're in the process of negotiating a new television distribution deal for Raw. So this is a major investment. They're basically signaling to anybody who is bidding to air Raw for the next 5 years, hey, we got one of the biggest names in the history of wrestling that we built, CM Punk. He's back. So I think it's a major investment that they put into.
Okay, so yeah, if they can make them, and I know they've been pushing the t-shirt really hard. I'm seeing like crazy everywhere, like ads for a CM Punk t-shirt. So that must have the sales in that must have been really good for them. That was probably the highest selling t-shirt this weekend, I think. What do you think?
Well, I don't know, because keep in mind, when did it go on sale? It didn't go on sale technically until the end of the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
So in the end, it will be. But I think that, it's still kind of early to tell because, people are still buying the LA Knight merchandise and stuff like that. So who knows? But again, long term, do you think it's going to be a good idea, or do you think a guy like you said, Philip, as you would say, Philip, do you think Philip will be such a big problem that it'll end up being a bad idea in the end?
I don't think. I think WWE on a business, like, forget the actual wrestling, as a business, right? So they've invested in bringing this guy back. Hopefully they're trying to, make some profit on him. He's definitely going to be he is the most spoken about thing right now in wrestling, right? Regardless of company, he's the biggest thing. Do you know what's actually quite sad? Off topic. The whole pay-per-view, everyone was just talking about CM Punk. Everyone forgot about the actual matches. It completely obliterated everything that went on that night, which is kind of unfortunate. But anyways, that's a whole different conversation. I think if they continue to push him and create big momentum with other wrestlers, and get him on some red carpets, man. Get him out there, because he's not homegrown. He's from the Indies, but technically on a grander scale, he is a WWE guy. He's got something Serge mentioned about Heyman. That's probably the only person I'm looking forward to seeing him with, because they do have this history together, and imagine the promos that will come from Heyman. Like, that's gonna be so nuts. So I think if the writers strategically book him in a way that they're able to just rinse everyone's money, they're gonna make the money back from him plus more, and that's what they want, right? Is he a team player? I don't know. I mean, it's all well and good when the cameras are on, but
he's not a team player. He's a selfish, what.
That's what I'm saying. So when they're on the road together, and they're not on TV now, they're maybe in the gym, or they're doing, how's that going to play out, And what if they try to gang up on him just because? Why not ambush him? How will he react? I think it's going to be a test on his way to control his emotions. And if he can just use the emotions to create great promos, then sure, because he is great on the mic. And one thing about a lot of the new people that are coming up, they're not good on the mic. He can guide a lot of the youngers,
Yo, yeah.
CM Punk is that kid with daddy issues. He's that kid who every time he picks up a mic, he's complaining to his daddy about how much he never hugged him, how much he never loved him enough, and because of that, he's going to rebel. And like you said earlier, Sophia, I think that a lot of people feel the same way. And whether it be, literally a parent or a manager at work or a teacher, there are a lot of people out there who feel like someone who should have loved them more, didn't love them enough. And because of that, they're going to inflict on others as a result. And that's not just a character. We can see in the real man's actions, that's who CM Punk is. Clearly, that's who Philip is.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned. And Serge, I don't want to disrespect anybody because I know that you're the biggest WWE fan in IWC, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think Triple H needs to be removed from his position. And I think we need a full performance review of him because this is the biggest mistake he ever made in his life, and he keeps doing these boneheaded things. I call him New Coke. He's not Vince McMahon. He's a poor excuse, a poor attempt to be Vince McMahon. And in reality, the guy just keeps on screwing up. You don't take a locker room that's harmonious, that's been getting along, people like each other in that company, and then you take a guy like CM Punk, who has been nothing but a complete virus, and inflict him upon a company that's doing so well right now. I think in the short term, we're going to see big ratings. We're going to see people make a lot of money. But in the long term, CM Punk is going to ruin WWE. And I'm telling everybody listening right now, I blame all of you for not pulling up your skinny jeans and putting the flavored malt beverage down, for not calling out the WWE and telling them they should have never brought this jerk back in there. Okay, I blame all of you out there. And 2 years from now, when Punk does what he always does, and he takes his ball and goes home, and then everyone's wondering what happened, I'm going to be the first to stand here, and I'm going to say in Sophia's accent, Philip. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say Philip, okay? Because that's what happens when you have piss poor management like Triple H. Serge, I'll let you have your last word.
Man, that's a hot take though, because Triple H should get a. I think a lot of people prefer Triple H over Vince. He's more like lenient and more like a wrestler's like, he's more like because he was a wrestler himself. He knows what the wrestlers want, and I think CM Punk. You're saying he's a toxic. I mean, yeah, I think a year ago I would have been saying the same thing. I don't want Punk in WWE, but like it's like time heals like everything, all wounds. Like I'm just thinking maybe, just maybe, he doesn't want his legacy to be that of a toxic person that just goes to every company he's and destroys it, and like in his return did a lot of like. It's doing so many views and like.
Hold on a second there, Serge. You think Tony Khan is healed after his life was put in danger by this guy? You think he's healed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard he fired him because his lawyers suggested he should definitely let him go. But Tony, he was the biggest CM Punk person. He wanted to build AEW around CM Punk.
And look what Punk did to him. Punk literally put his life in danger.
Yeah, he was like their biggest draw, and then that stuff happened. And I think Tony kind of like when he says my life was in danger. I kind of there's a lot of people that scoff at that. Like, come on, like I mean, I guess but yeah, there was some trouble with Jack Perry. Did kind of also like with the Crimea River line, like
he stuck up for himself, Serge. You gonna let a guy like Punk push you around, threaten to beat you up, and then you're not gonna stick up for yourself?
No,
so he chokes Jack Perry because Jack Perry actually spoke up for and defended himself?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's because, like, man, you're like, but like that was like they could have like left that alone. Like Jack Perry, I think, yeah, he probably he got mad at what Punk said about the glass stuff, and like so he said Crimea River, and like. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Jack Perry is a hero. CM Punk is a virus. Jack Perry is a superstar. CM Punk is a no good, tatted up Philip. That's what he is. Okay, that's what he is. You see, Sophia, right? Look at Jack Perry with his beautiful hair. You see his beautiful curly hair. His father was a movie star. Jack Perry's father. I know about Jack Perry's story. Jack Perry's father used to take him to wrestling school and help him get trained. You're talking about a kid who was hugged by his daddy. Okay, and that's why CM Punk doesn't like Jack Perry. Okay, because Jack Perry is the complete opposite of him. Jack Perry doesn't have any stupid tattoos all over himself. Jack Perry's not walking around with a big Pepsi label on himself like a walking billboard. Jack Perry's a star. And CM Punk wants to be Jack Perry. That's why he tried to beat him up. What do you think,
I don't
Sophia?
know.
No, I
I don't
agree
know
with you.
about that,
Definitely. He wants to be Jack Perry. He's jealous that Jack Perry's dad was a movie star and Jack Perry's dad hugged him. 100%. His
100%.
dad was there, watching his early growth to becoming. His dad helped him pursue his dream of becoming a wrestler.
Sure did.
He said, Daddy, I want to be a wrestler. And Daddy went and made it happen.
So CM Punk has a problem with Jack Perry because Jack Perry represents what it means to be somebody who has all of the support that CM Punk never had in life. And that's why he did what he did. And that's why he did it to Tony Khan, too, because Tony Khan's daddy loves him so much, he bought a wrestling company for him. He bought a whole wrestling company for him. Okay? So that's why CM Punk has a problem. But look what he does. He tucks his tail between his legs and he goes running back to Vince McMahon, the ultimate daddy, right? He goes running back to Vince McMahon, who Vince, he didn't necessarily like his dad. His dad made him buy the company off of him. So I think Punk probably looks at Vince like, yeah, you're kind of more like me than Tony Khan. And that's why he came running back with his tail between his legs after he sued the company and talked all that trash. Serge, I'm telling you right now, I'm blaming you. If WWE loses money overall, if another company comes and destroys them and becomes number one, I'm blaming you, Serge, because as their number one fan, you should have told WWE, you should have called Vince McMahon and Triple H personally and told them not to do this deal.
The thing is, I'm seeing AEW not doing that well after Punk left, and there's still some drama in AEW with some other people. Like, I don't know, I get it. CM Punk also is I think it was more like, it wasn't just all CM Punk's fault. It was on all sides. And Jack Perry, I think, there's a lot of people that do like him, but there's a lot of people that wish he didn't do what he did to drive Punk away.
He stuck up for himself. And
there's some people that think he's a devil, and they hope he's not. There's some people that really hope that he's not, because they really don't like Jack Perry. But yeah, I get it. People are sticking up for themselves, and like CM Punk, I guess, has done that as well. If he sees like a wrong, he will stick up for himself. Like, so I guess because Punk said a lot of nice things about Jack Perry in the beginning. So it's funny how things have ended up with that, and now he's in WWE. Now he's having another chance, I think. And Vince had no say in this at all. It was all Triple H and Nick Khan.
No, CM Punk called Vince McMahon and said, "Daddy, I want to come home." Okay,
I don't even think TKO had it.
Tears in his eyes. "Daddy, I want to come home." That's what happened. "Daddy, I will be better this time. I learned that I made mistakes in the past. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be on punishment anymore. I want to come home, Daddy. I want to, please." That's CM Punk came on his knees back. He even had to apologize to The Miz. Okay, that's what Vince McMahon told him to do. Then you got to apologize to your brother. All the negative things you said about The Miz, who's a Hall of Famer, as soon as he retires.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon made CM Punk do the one thing he never wanted to do: apologize to The Miz for all the stuff he said about him. So what does that tell you?
That tells me, but I don't think, Vince was really like a TKO for sure. I don't think was. It definitely Endeavor has a good relationship with CM Punk, but like Triple H said, no, they didn't. Like when asked, he didn't. Like TKO had nothing to do with this. It was all Nick Khan and Triple H.
No, that big daddy Vince McMahon. Okay, Vince.
No, I don't think Vince McMahon. No, I don't think Vince McMahon either. But yeah, CM Punk. Yeah, he had to say sorry to Miz. He had to say.
The whole locker room, he apologized for being the type of jerk that he's been.
Oh, yeah, okay? And he is.
And you know what, Punk? You should apologize to me.
If you thought you were getting me to come here to debate about that, hey, I agree with you, bro. I that's the thing. Like, I'm just thinking, there's time heals all wounds. No,
I'm not healed. I want an apology from CM Punk right now. I want an apology. Sophia, take us out. What do you think? What's your last words on this?
Yeah, I want an apology too.
Philip, we want an apology from you.
Apologize.
Come on, Philip.
Apologize, like he said to us.
That's right. We should get T-shirts printed. Philip, apologize. That's
Definitely.
it. That's it. Because here's the thing, and I'll end it on this, and then we'll let you folks plug your social media. But here's the thing: you have children that are watching. You have young, impressionable minds that are watching. You have people like Sophia said, straight edge people. Like Serge said, you have people who want to follow somebody and want to be like them. And CM Punk has led a lot of people astray with the way that he's conducted himself. He's conducted himself like a bully. He's conducted himself like somebody who stomps their feet and raises hell when they don't get their way. He's conducted himself like somebody who you really don't want to do business with. And because of that, Philip, you owe us all an apology. Sophia, take us out.
Okay, so yeah, definitely. And this, I mean, everyone's saying that AEW is over for them, right? But who knows? Like at the end of the day, this could be CM Punk could be that much of a virus that he brings down the entire company, and AEW has the opportunity now to rise up.
Agreed.
I don't think they will let it go to that though. That's like if Punk does, because they think Punk is going to be a moneymaker for them, and I think he could be, and like I think they see a risk and reward with Punk. So like, if Punk, I don't think if Punk starts acting up, I think they're gonna squash that real quick. Tony really let CM Punk like gets free reign over everything. Like Tony is very least like leaderless and like directionless in AEW right now, and like they don't have no direction, and you can see in the like WWE has they definitely don't have no leadership in the locker rooms. Like CM, like everyone's just getting like, that's why someone in AEW were like CM Punk would probably be able to be better in WWE because like there's more leadership and there's like an atmosphere where Punk it's more a professional atmosphere, because like even Punk in the press conference in AEW, he was like, "I'm working with amateurs," or I don't know verbatim what he said.
So wait a second, Serge, are you saying Tony Khan is not professional?
No, I'm saying the wrestlers that he hires are not professional. That's the thing, and he doesn't. And Tony is not like a dictator, like no, that's not the word. It's like he's not like a control person. Like he lets people do what they want to do, right? He's not like a I'm not saying he's like, I'm not saying Tony is this, like, he's like unprofessional, but he's definitely not someone that, puts his foot down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
listen, Tony Khan jumped in my inbox and yelled at me one time because he didn't like when I was tweeting about something. And we had a nice long conversation on a Wednesday, right before Dynamite was going to air live on TV. Tony Khan jumped in my inbox to straighten me out. This guy is a billionaire, and he is not going to sit back and let people make him the laughing stock of the world. I expect Tony Khan to come out swinging. Okay, Phillip, watch your back, Philip. Tony Khan might buy Pepsi and make Philip take that Pepsi tattoo off his arm. I'm just saying. Tony Khan, he's crazy, a bad man. Right? He's no, and you know what?
I don't know.
And Tony Khan doesn't drink regular milk; he drinks almond milk. So you better watch it, okay?
His dad's a gangster. His dad is a gangster.
He's got that mustache. He got that mustache. Anybody with a mustache like that, yeah, you can't mess with anybody with a mustache like that. So that's the way it is. Sophia, what's the best way everybody can keep up with you?
You can find me on Instagram, X, and TikTok at Vocal Minds. Sophia, over to you, Serge.
That's all right, Serge. What's the best way everyone can keep up with you? Because you are always tweeting something interesting.
I'm always on Twitter tweeting something. Yeah, I really only use Twitter. Really, I use other stuff, but you can find me on @Guru of all things. Yeah, I really mostly use Twitter, and yeah, I do tweet a lot. I do. I every time I have a thought in my head, I'm like, I gotta tweet this out.
Listen, I was looking at your page, Serge, and I was wondering if you were Triple H in disguise, because
literally,
no way.
I'm still wondering if I've been talking to Triple H this whole time.
Triple H has not this much. Like, Triple H is way more busy than me. I don't think he's gonna be a tweeting but I am very pro WWE, but I try not to be biased either. Like AEW, they're not like, I don't like AEW that much. I used to watch it. I was into TNA once. Then Dixie Carter happened, and I think Tony's a Jacksonville Dixie. Really, I think he's like Randy Orton said, he's like Jacksonville Dixie. He's the male version of Dixie Carter, and like he has Dixie had her parents' money to do what she did, and now Tony has his dad's money to do what he's doing, and
CM Punk doesn't, and that's why CM Punk is jealous. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Listen, I appreciate you both for joining us on the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast. Once again, Philip, you owe us an apology.
Yep, we're getting those T-shirts.
That's right. What are the T-shirts going to say, Sophia?
Apologize.
You owe us an apology.
That's right. Definitely head over to our friends over at liquidiv.com. Use the promo code Duke Loves Wrestling. That's all together, no spaces. Duke Loves Wrestling. You're going to save 20% off of your entire order with Liquid IV. It is something that I absolutely enjoy. I am a hydration stick lover. Okay, it is something that I've incorporated into my everyday routine these days. Hydration sticks are very important. You open it up, you put it in your bottle of water, shake that sucker up. You're getting all of your B vitamins. You're getting hydration on another level beyond just a regular bottle of water. You know, and certainly we need it. This time of year with everything going on, you're going to be going to different places for the holidays. You're going to be running around shopping, especially Black Friday, whatever you have going on. Okay, you want to make sure that you stay hydrated. And one of the best ways to do so is with Liquid IV. And yes, you can go into the stores and purchase it. So, you know, get it however way you want to get it. But if you want to save some money, use Duke Loves Wrestling at liquidiv.com. That way, 20% off, you can get even more. Okay, that's your entire order on liquidiv.com. So what are you waiting for? Shop better hydration today. That's right.
This is Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Wrestling.